Welcome to our breakout session, Digital Change, How to Succeed and Not to Fail. We want to focus today on the hurdles and, like Katrin Suda called them, blocks of digital change in the shop floor with practical examples. My name is Karen Osman. I'm head of Training Academy of Bosch Connected Industry, where we focus on training and more on the topic of digital change and support in the shop floor. I'm here with two colleagues which are experts for digital change. One is Tormod Ziegler. Hello, Tormod. Tormod is a senior expert for change. He's a consultant in our training academy, and he spent the last years in the plants to support their digital transfer processes. And we have a colleague here, a manager colleague from one of our biggest divisions, Thies Uwe Trapp. He is responsible for introduction of digital tools in the factories. And he's also active part of the big and huge transformation process in powertrain in our automotive industry. And one of the pioneers, 7 years ago, he started with Industry 4.0 in Bosch plants. We are here, as I said, to give you examples out of our experiences, because we've learned by hard mistakes, maybe, that Industry 4.0 is not only about technology, it's about people, it's about processes. And that's what we want to show a little bit here in our discussion. Talking about change, we will have a little bit of change here on stage because we are 3 persons, and because of regulations of pandemic situation, we have to keep the distance, and Thies and Tormod are always changing the places. So this for explanation. Okay, Thies. Tormod, if you think about the last years and your experiences, what are the main experiences you can talk about digitalization in an organization?
Well, there are many things you can do wrong when implementing I 4.0. And actually, we have made our own experience with that. As a pioneer of I 4.0, I don't think that we missed a single pitfall. And for today, I brought you 3 pitfalls. Let's start with the first one. So we did little or almost no analysis in advance to really understand what the change means for the associates and what the effort it will be for them. So we were so convinced about the solution itself that we thought they will love it too. And we didn't expect any resistance.
And they won't.
Yeah, exactly. So what we, in addition to that, completely underestimated was the extent of change and the concerns of our associates. So for instance, they were afraid of having insufficient skills and capabilities to run a digital solution.
Thies, can you confirm this impressions of Tormod?
Yes, Karen, this is what I experienced myself. So sometimes we were not fully aware of what the change really meant to our associates and how they should deal with it. In the digitalization project, for example, for our milk run system, we only found out late what features our associates would be missing and what fears they would have in the change. So the milk run, it is an intralogistics method based on a fixed schedule, and we thought it would not make a difference whether our milk run drivers now read the schedule on a paper or on a tablet screen. But when we introduced it, we found out that they had additional tasks that we were not aware of. And so this was not working for them. And they had really fears not to be able to run this solution and not to be able to cope with the change. Now, they received a very good training. We did additional features into the software, and it's well accepted. So you really have to take a deeper look on the processes you are changing. Let me give you another example. When we introduced the work instructions digitally, everyone looked at the operator saying, hey, this is cool, this is great change. Yeah? Now he reads from a screen instead of paper, colorful. But actually, to gain full benefit of it, we asked also for better content. We asked for additional pictures, we asked for videos, for better text. And now the change actually is at the engineering, because they have to prepare this. It's a one-time effort at the start, but they have to prepare it. And that's the real change.
Interesting insight. Thank you. Tormod, what is the second pitfall we've experienced?
Yeah, so the second pitfall was our belief that I 4.0 is a task for specialists only. Yeah? But the truth is, well, you cannot drive I 4.0 out of a silo into a silo. Yeah, so you need to understand that the introduction affects all employees, and everybody needs to understand I 4.0 in their working environment. And this actually applies as much to the CEO as to all employees on the shop floor.
Does this match with your experiences, Thies?
It actually does, Karen. Even if the solution is cool and fancy, it causes effort and change, and people have to have time to learn and to adapt, and they need training. And coming back to this idea of the work instructions, when we found out that the engineering needs time for the change, the management has to admit that they need priority on that. And because nobody likes to change under a high workload. And if you want to have the change, you need to give them time and priority for the change. And talking about training, this is not everything. The most effective motivation for a change is purpose.
This is a strong keyword and an important keyword, Thies, I think. And training has to do with the third pitfall, hasn't it, Tormod?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for bringing up this topic. Yeah, so training, of course, is very important, training on new technology. And we thought for a long time that this would be enough to get our associates on board. Yeah? But the fact is, training is not sufficient. Yeah? Associates need to know when the change is happening, yeah? What is going to change for them, well, in a detailed manner, and why the change is coming. Yeah? And it's quite important to understand, and this is what we had to learn, to create motivation align or involvement of associates. You need to start this from the very beginning. That's very important.
Okay, and to give a vision, I understand. Okay, so these are three examples, three pitfalls we found very important by implementing Industry 4.0. Now, audience, we would like to know from you, how are your experiences? Do you know one or all of those pitfalls in your organizations? Have you seen them? Have you lived through them? So we have a poll here, and we have. You should have a mask on your screen. Please open it. Please share your experiences with us. We will show the results afterwards and share it with you. The poll is anonymous and it's multi-choice. You can answer one or all three pitfalls. The question is, which pitfalls have you observed in the implementation of new technologies in your organization? Thank you very much for taking part, and we will come back later to the results. Okay, thinking about the experiences and all you've lived through, Thies, does this change your approach towards implementation processes?
Well, Karen, all the experiences that I've mentioned earlier led to this systematic approach that we are using today for our change management. So we try to involve as many users as possible, as early as possible, into the development process. we take a deep look into what actually is the change and which roles are affected to it, so that we can ask representative groups of these roles to support us in designing the process so that it really fits to their daily needs and business. And last not least, we frankly speak about the efforts at the start and not only about the benefits at the end, yeah? To get the full commitment of our management that they give the resources that's needed for the change.
So it's front-loading, I understand. What other recommendations do you have for our audience?
Well, digital transformation is bringing changes for the better to your processes. And the change needs to be managed. It's just that simple. And Tormod has a very good approach for that.
Tormod, how does your approach look like?
Well, when we support our customers, we usually follow 3 steps. So the first one is we have an analysis of the change impact. This includes a stakeholder analysis of every associate directly or indirectly affected by the implementation. Then we have an analysis which we call a context analysis, what exactly will change for the associates and what experience they have so far. The second step is that we then create a change design where we derive measures or activities out from this analysis. And usually this includes a qualification, we had it before, training, a role-specific qualification, a vision and a target group specific communication. Then we have an enabling of leadership to accompany the digital transformation. And we have a roadmap which is aligned to the technical milestones of the project, of the overall project. And last but not least, we support our customers in implementing these steps, at least for the pilot phase. Because what our target is to establish change management communication in the customer's organization.
So I understand, Tormod, that there's no one fits all, but they are tailored processes. Is this right?
Exactly, yeah, that's true.
Okay, then wouldn't it be helpful to have a sort of guide or guidance, a basic, where I could know what to do and why?
Yeah, you're right. But first, I would like to point out 2 very important things. It's very important that you, as management, you understand IFA 4.0 as a full journey. For you, for your management, and for your employees. And second point is that once you start in your role as top management, a digital project, so make sure that you include change management methods, with budget, with change expertise, and with resources. And you mentioned a guidance. We have a white paper, which is sort of a guidance and a basis of action. And based on a study on real projects, where we found out that there is a huge difference between projects who applied, or digital projects applying change management methods, and projects which did not. So the difference was that projects who used change management methods were 50% more efficient. And this was quite an interesting outcome for us.
50% more efficient. I would understand if you, audience, can't believe that. So the good message for you is the white paper just has come out, and you can be first readers. You will get the white paper tomorrow with all other material from this conference, and then you can see and check why does change management make your digital tools in the shop floor 50% more efficient, which is a huge number, I think. So this would be the end of our very brief and short introduction to pitfalls and mistakes we made. And our goal is that lessons learned are good, but it's better to share them. So we want you not to make the same mistakes. So that's why we brought these examples here today. And now I'm very nosy to get the results of the poll, and here they are. There are 64 votes. Thank you very much for everybody who shared this questionnaire. And we see a clear winner. The winner is really to underestimate the impact of change which comes with digitalization. And the second place is to focus only on training and not to think about others than training, other measures. And third rate, but with 14% nearly, nevertheless quite important, is to think Industry 4.0 is only a topic for the project leader or for the coordinator. Tormod, I would be interested in your view on these results.
Well, this actually reflects exactly our experience we have, so that I mentioned before that when we introduced a solution, we were quite excited about the new possibilities. And, well, we thought that, of course, our associates would like it too. Yeah? And this is something, we really learned in a hard way. So always, and the conclusion was to always think, in perspective of the associate. What does it mean for them? Yeah? Or maybe another example, sometimes projects are seen as a minor IT activity, and actually from IT perspective, it's a small thing, but the impact for associates is quite huge. And so this is something you always need to take into account, when implementing something, even it looks like a small IT function, but think about the impact it could have for the associates.
Yeah, and we have to be aware that we don't know all processes which the associates know, and, and that's what Thies gave us as an example.
Exactly, they are the experts, they know best what will be changing and what will be the impact.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for taking part and being part of our poll. And now we have plenty of time, I think, to answer your questions or getting your comment or come to a discussion even about change in the shop floor. Okay, a first question is already there. It is, I think it's a question for you, Tormod. What can you do to help if my change project is not running smoothly?
Okay, well, that's a nice question. I mean, of course, this is a sign that something might be happening with the associates. I mean, from the distance, of course, you cannot just tell, okay, do this or that. But the first thing I recommend is to analyze what could be the reason, actually to talk to the associates. Yeah? I think, well, everybody might know this, go to Gemma, go to the line, talk to the people, and ask maybe how do they see the new solution, or if you're planning a solution, then start with the communication quite early and to get feedback, to get kind of a sounding of associates, how they see this implementation, because this gives you an idea how to deal with it.
I think a second topic is what Thies already mentioned, to give a vision and a why. Why are we doing it? Very often, my experience is that managers tend to hide the real why, because one of the main whys and the big whys is, of course, we want and we have to save money. This is something, if we don't mention it, associates will get nervous because they know it must be one of the reasons. And of course, we have to talk about it and we have to give reason. The next question, interesting. What are your thoughts, Tormod? It's a perfect question for you. About the statement, a digital transformation also needs an agile transformation.
Well, a very interesting question. I see it in both ways. First of all, my thought, of course, digital transformation always means So you have software development, and things are automated. This means, yeah, agile should be the method. Yeah? But then you have to consider where exactly it will be happening. Yeah? How are the processes? And for example, in production, agile is sometimes not the right working method. Yeah? You really have to understand, okay, what is the environment? Yeah? What is the target of the solution, and then decide, okay, let's switch to agile, let's stay in the way of working we do so far. And agile, of course, is a huge word. Yeah? You have different types of agile, different maturity levels. This is something you need to consider, of course.
So it's not a medicine for
exactly,
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you very much. It was a very short time for such an interesting topic. Thank you very much for your questions, for your taking part of it, and take care for your change processes. Thank you very much.